Hoda Ani Lifaneka Hoda Ani Lifaneka Hoda Ani Lifaneka Ruachai V'kayam Shechazaktabi Nishmati V'chela Shechazaktabi Nishmati V'chela Shechazaktabi Nishmati B'chela Rabbeinu Lateva. So everybody sing this with me as loud as you can. Voda Ani Lifanecha Voda Ani Lifanecha Voda Ani Lifanecha and if you don't know the words, you can just say yai dai 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 lai dai yai dai dai yai dai 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 yai dai yai dai yai dai 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 yai dai yai dai dai yai dai 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 yai dai dai.
Oh, hello, everybody.
So good to see you. And where's Rhonda and David? Anyway, we're at our friends Rhonda and David's house
in San Diego.
And hopefully they'll join us here.
We're in a
other vaccinated people to chant with. And wow, we've missed you. And you know, it was a year ago, just almost to the day, when there was this kind of like, oh my God, what is going on? What do we do?
What's happening? Yeah.
And it was so clear to me. I said, we need to get together and practice, you know, because that's what's going to sustain us. That's what's going to hold us through anything. And I didn't know what was coming, but I knew I must have kind of known what was coming, because I said, you know, we need each other. We need to practice together.
Mm-hmm.
And on that day, I think it was March 12th of last year, I called the first KZOOM together, and we began to practice. And it's been such an amazing blessing in our lives to have this community gathering and sustaining each other. So I invite you to take a look around the Zoom room and
see all these bright, shiny faces.
Everybody that's here, give a greeting of welcome to each other.
Hey.
That we are here for each other. And
wow. Mm-hmm.
And so I think that, and around this here,
Mm-hmm.
I think that what sustains me in my life is this project that in Jewish language we call devekut. And devekut is this ability that we cultivate to have two foci at once, to be connected to the wholeness of life, um, to like the ground of being, and at the same time give ourselves to what's right in front of us, to this present moment, to there's like figure and ground. But
Mm.
if we just get lost in the figure of this moment, we lose the ground. And yet we can't totally be in the ground. We have to also
Function.
be in this world. It's being in this world but not of it, is knowing ourselves as divine light beings who are doing this human trip here.
Mm.
And but that remembrance all the time, and sometimes we lose it, and through our practice we get that awareness back again. And so the Song of Songs for me has been this kind of reminder that of my true identity as in love, as the beloved, as the um, that relationship with the beloved becomes the context in which I live my life. So so I what I wanted to
Mm.
do was to be able to really ground, anchor ourselves in that place of love, of remembrance, and from there we live our lives. We do what needs to be done. We grow in compassion. So the first practice that I want to bring that kind of lays out this theme of like, oh, what time is it? What day is it? Where are we?
Today.
And
It's today.
it's today. Uh, and the Song of Songs says, "Oh, daughters of Zion, come out and gaze upon King Solomon with the crown his mother gave him on his wedding day, the day of his heart's rejoicing." Um, so what I say in my commentary, I say we are called to come out, and we're coming out from our blindness and complacency, to gaze upon King Solomon, which is the truth of our wholeness, who wears the crown that his mother, Shekhinah, the divine immanence, gives him on this day that celebrates the marriage of all duality. This is the day of our heart's rejoicing, the day when we see through the illusions of separation and the truth of unity is made known. And as I began to chant these words, I remembered, oh, that's today. That's today. Today is the wedding day. And I'm also really when Jalaluddin Rumi died, his followers celebrated the day of his death, and they called it his wedding day.
Mm.
As the day that he kind of completely surrendered to the beloved, and it sort of like shifted even my idea of death. Imagine looking forward to the day that you die as the true day, your wedding day, the day when you finally embrace and are embraced completely by the beloved. And meanwhile, we get little glimpses of it. And so this practice really plant inside ourselves a sense of this unity that underlies the duality. we live in this place of duality, which is painful sometimes, difficult, challenging. And yet, when we kind of widen our vision and sense that there is this unity that's holding us, that's holding all of it, then it changes everything. It changes how we how we how we deal with that duality, because we know we don't have to be lost in it. We can we can find our
Don't have to be a victim to it.
Yeah, we can find our ground, and we can treat life and even death as a great adventure. Yeah. So, but it's a kind of like, when I'm chanting, what I'm doing is I'm saying, what is it that I know but I forget? How can I plant that knowing inside me so that it'll be a little bit stronger and I won't get as lost, or I won't lose that remembrance? And I do that with melody, with rhythm, with repetition, with intensity, with intention. So, so let's tune into this possibility of today. And would you like to shriek, Lynn?
Yes.
Is David coming? Not coming? Okay. Okay.
He's softer. Yeah.
Om Hatunato, Om Sinkat Lipo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Om Hatunato, Om Sinkat Lipo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Om Hatunato, Om Sinkat Lipo, Om Hatunato, Om Sinkat Lipo. Om Hatunato, Om Sinkat Lipo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Om Hatunato, Om Sinkat Lipo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Om Hatunato, Om Sinkat Lipo, Om Hatunato, Om Sinkat Lipo. Om Hatunato, Om Sinkat Lipo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Om Hatunato, Om Sinkat Lipo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Om Hatunato, Om Sinkat Lipo, Om Hatunato, Om Sinkat Lipo. Om Hatunato, Om Sinkat Lipo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Om Hatunato, Om Sinkat Lipo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Om Hatunato, Om Sinkat Lipo, Om Hatunato, Om Sinkat Lipo. Om Hatunato, Om Sinkat Lipo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Om Hatunato,
Uviyom simchat libo, Vayom hatunato, Uviyom simchat libo. Vayom hatunato, Uviyom simchat libo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo, Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo. Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo, Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo. Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo, Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo. Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo, Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo. Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom. Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo, Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo. Vayom hatunato, Vayom simchat libo, Hayom, Hayom, Hayom.
So to say that today is my wedding day, means that I need to show up fully in all of my glory, to receive that divine presence, and 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 really get present. I was thinking about somehow that as I was chanting out the image of my wedding day with Rachmil. Um, on the morning of our wedding day, a group of doves showed up on our porch.
Yeah.
That we'd never seen them before. A whole little flock
Yeah. 5 or 6.
of ring-necked doves showed up with a message. It seemed, you know that it was today. But imagine waking up every day and saying, "Oh, this is today. It's today. Today's the day." And that sense of expectancy, of rejoicing in the possibility that's being given to me today, and it's going to come in forms that I could not have imagined. And this whole past year has come in the forms
one surprise after another.
we couldn't have imagined. And that so the other side of our rejoicing is a sense of divine rejoicing. And I found this line that I hadn't chanted in a really long time, but I came across this chant that I had created a long time ago that says, I translated as may the presence ever shine, may God rejoice in his creation. May the presence ever shine. So it has that Yud He Vav He, unpronounceable name of God. So I pronounce it as both Shekhinah, the presence, the indwelling presence, and Yah, the kind of the breath of life. So, so a sense that we are charged up by that divine gaze that is always shining, that God is rejoicing in us, and having a sense of expectancy for like what's gonna, what is gonna come through us, how the essence is going to be manifested as form today. So as I was chanting it today, I really felt a kind of the sense of glory, of majesty, of something that I wanted to rise to God's expectancy. I wanted to be inspired that presence was delighting in me, and to feel that possibility. And who do I want to become today in the light of that divine joy? So that's really the question that I want to ask, to bring me fully present, fully here.
Who do you want to be today?
Right. Not what do you want to do today? Who do you want to be today? Let's see if we can sort of rise up to that sense of divine rejoicing. And it happens through us, because we are the eyes and the hands and the light of God that is shining through us. לעולם. ישמח ביה במעשה. יהי דבר שכינה לעולם. יהי דבר שכינה לעולם. יהי דבר שכינה לעולם. וישמח יה במעשה. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. ישמח יה במעשה. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. ישמח יה במעשה. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. ישמח יה במעשה. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. ישמח יה במעשה. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. ישמח יה במעשה. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. ישמחיה במעשיו. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. ישמחיה במעשיו. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. יהי כבוד שכינה לעולם. ישמחיה So take a moment, just close your eyes and feel that divine radiance is rejoicing within you. God is delighting in your uniqueness and saying, yeah, more. I made you perfect. Just be. And feeling that delight in us, and actually, Tony, this next one is really a Shabbat chant too. This chant that says, and now it's our turn to rejoice in God who has dressed me in the garments of salvation. So I'm rejoicing in the way that I'm garbed. It's like I'm a soul, I'm a light being, and I'm garbed in this strange, peculiar, eccentric identity, and I stepped into this very weird, possibly dysfunctional family, and I stepped into this, this crazy tribe and this place, and that's all the garbs of my soul. It's all of those garbs, and it's like I want to wear that identity and not get too attached to it, right? I want to wear it with flair, with panache. Is that a word? Yes.
Yes.
I want to wear that identity. I want to play with it. And I want to remember the light that is underneath it, that is being garbed in it, because these are the garments of salvation. So these are the garments through which I attain this, the teachings of this lifetime. So this identity it's not nothing. It's it's
If
actually
only it were.
it's actually the vehicle through which this salvation comes, my realization comes. I come to the place of knowing my light through that garb that I wear. I think it's just an amazing idea. And so when I chant this, often when I chant this, I like to just take a walk. And I'm not going to do that because I'm going to be sitting in front of the computer. But you can do that if you want. To feel this garb of your identity, our many identities, these layers of identity that we wear, and to wear them with style, with some sense of humor, with a feeling of like, oh yeah, these are really nice clothes, but I could also take them off sometimes and just be the pure light soul that I am. And I can put them back on whenever I want. But just knowing that naked light underneath it. So let's.
You can reference Cocoon.
What? Oh,
Remember that
there's
movie?
There's a movie called.
I think it was 1984.
There's
called
a movie
Cocoon.
Cocoon, and the old people, and the people come from another planet. And it's
at some point they unzip their skin and peel it off, and they're just beings of light, just like us.
So I invite you to sort of get into the chant, and if you want to take a walk, pretending to be yourself.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
But we know who you really are. We know the soul that you are underneath it. So Sasis Badonai Tagel Nafshi Belohai. So Sasis Badonai Tagel Nafshi Belohai. He'll be shani Bigday Yesha. He'll be shani Bigday Yesha. So Sasis Badonai Tagel Nafshi Belohai. So Sasis Badonai Tagel Nafshi Belohai. He'll be shani Bigday Yesha. He'll be shani Bigday Yesha. So Sasis Badonai Tagel Nafshi Belohai. So Sasis Badonai Tagel Nafshi Belohai. Let's take a moment, close your eyes, and imagine taking off the clothes, the garments for a moment to know what's underneath it, the garments of your identity, of your gender, of your kind of, all of the outer kind of sense of who you think you are. Imagine taking off layer after layer after layer of those and finding the soul that is underneath them all, this light being that's totally connected to God. And just remembering, oh, I can put those garments back on with kind of a deliberateness, with a playfulness, with a sense of, yeah, I'm choosing these garments. And I'll take them off again. And who am I underneath it all? And the practice of Devekut is remembering who I am underneath all of those garments. And in that place underneath it, we're all connected. So I invite you to open your eyes and to take a look at around the Zoom room for a moment to see, like, oh, can you see underneath the garments here of these, to see the soul underneath here. So I had this experience a couple years ago. I was invited to the Lama Foundation in New Mexico to lead Shabbat for their 50th anniversary, and that it's a spiritual community that Ram Dass was part of starting. And after Shabbat was over, he Skyped in from Hawaii, and he was on a big screen looking at us, sitting there in the dome at the Lama Foundation. And he looked around the room, and his face just lit up. And he looked at us and he said, "I see your souls." And we all just burst out crying. Like 100 people there burst out crying in that moment, because our souls had been seen. And I thought, oh, I want to be able to look around my Zoom room and see your soul, and what does it mean to see your soul, and also what does it mean to have your soul seen? Really, it's such an amazing gift that we can give each other, like saying, "Yeah, I know you're playing that role right now, but I know who you are." So this rejoicing in our true identity, and happens just moment by moment. It's not something that you can decide, because then the next moment you get pulled into the tangles of life and you forget. And so every moment is a moment of tshuva, of returning to that truth and keeping some of your awareness in that bigger picture. I wanted our last practice to be a practice that I call satisfaction and its fruits. And it to me, it sort of brings me into like that sense of today. What am I going to do today? How am I going to do it today? And so it says, may your chesed, your loving kindness, satisfy us, fill us up, really, in the morning. And then we will sing out and we will rejoice, each and every day. So that sense of satisfaction as the sun rises and gives us the new day is like, oh, here's an opportunity to start again, to remember who I am, to live from that place of wholeness. So let us, and I want to just bring the question, which maybe we can check in when we have our little checking in groups. The question of, like, when is it that I remember that I'm a soul, and when is it that I forget that I'm a soul? That's really kind of a clue to how we live our lives. And if we can sort of reflect on that question of saying, like, okay, yeah, I do forget who I really am, but what is it that brings me back into remembrance? And what is it that triggers me and makes me forget who I really am? But let's see if we can dive into this fullness, this satisfaction in the today. Sabeinu baboker chazecha, Sabeinu baboker chazecha, uneranana v'nismecha b'chol yameinu, uneranana v'nismecha b'chol yameinu. Sabeinu baboker chazecha, Sabeinu baboker chazecha, uneranana v'nismecha b'chol yameinu, uneranana v'nismecha b'chol yameinu.
Sabaynu Baboke Hastecha Sabaynu Baboke Hastecha Unaranana V'nismacha V'kol yameinu Unaranana V'nismacha V'kol yameinu Sabaynu Baboke Hastecha Sabaynu Baboke Hastecha Unaranana V'nismacha V'kol yameinu Unaranana V'nismacha V'kol yameinu Sabaynu Baboke Hastecha Sabaynu Baboke Hastecha Unaranana V'nismacha V'kol yameinu Unaranana V'nismacha V'kol yameinu Sabaynu Baboke Hastecha Sabaynu Baboke Hastecha Unaranana V'nismacha V'kol yameinu Unaranana V'nismacha V'kol yameinu Sabaynu Baboke Hastecha Sabaynu Baboke Hastecha Unaranana V'nismacha V'kol yameinu Unaranana V'nismacha V'kol yameinu Sabaynu Baboke Hastecha Sabaynu Baboke Hastecha Unaranana V'nismacha V'kol yameinu Unaranana V'nismacha V'kol yameinu Sabaynu Baboke Hastecha Sabaynu Baboke Hastecha Unaranana V'nismacha V'kol yameinu Unaranana V'nismacha V'kol yameinu Sabaynu Baboke Hastecha Sabaynu Baboke Hastecha Unaranana V'nismacha V'kol yameinu Unaranana V'nismacha V'kol yameinu
Well, so as we complete this whole, it's like a new year. It's a new year of completing this year of the pandemic, and Rhonda, we're drinking to that, and so, and you just learn, and you don't know what's next. For Jonathan, Katie, his wife, and their 2 children, wherever.
See, you never
You
know
never
what's
know
going
what's
to
coming
happen next.
So I think what's partly, what's been sustaining us this past year is also your generosity, and we invite you to continue donating to us through the website so we can, I think we'll just keep KZOOMing because we love it and we love seeing you.
Yeah.
And it feels like a really sustaining practice. I want to say that that there's a love at the center mini retreat happening on June 5th and 6th, and we are. I just set up that there's going to be a wilderness journey of love, a river trip down the Green River in Utah in August. And so you can find information about that on my website, but I'm really looking forward to really opening up that path of love into the wilderness. And it feels like the wilderness is also a place where we take off some of those garments that we wear of the civilized world and find out a little bit who we are. There was a point on this one river trip where Judy turned to us. We all were sitting around, and Judy said, she looked around at all the faces there, and she said, "Oh, we're all getting dirtier on the outside and cleaner on the inside." And that's kind of what that wilderness journey does for us. It's like it cleans us out, even though we get really dirty. So, so if you're interested in